Imagine this. A sitting US president outright ignores a court ruling. What happens next? Could it lead to a constitutional crisis? Is there anything that can stop them? Well, today we're diving deep into the constitutional checks and balances that keep the system in check. Let's break it down. What happens if a president ignores the courts? The US operates under the rule of law, meaning everyone, even the president, must obey court rulings. Courts, especially the Supreme Court, interpret laws and decide if government actions are constitutional. But what if a president, say Donald Trump, refuses to comply with a court order? Well, that's where our system of government, our checks and balances, comes into play. The US government is built on three branches: legislative, executive, and judicial. The legislative branch, or Congress, makes the laws. The executive branch, which includes the president and various agencies, enforces the laws. And the judicial branch, consisting of the courts and the Supreme Court, interprets the laws. Each branch has power over the others to prevent abuse. This system ensures that no one, including the president, becomes too powerful. If Trump, or any president, ignores a court ruling, the consequences depend on how far they take it. Let's go through the possible outcomes. A judge could hold the president in contempt of court, meaning fines or penalties could be imposed. But here's the thing: enforcing that against a sitting president is tricky. If Congress sees this as abuse of power, they can investigate and even start impeachment proceedings. Ignoring a court order could be considered an impeachable offense. The courts don't have their own police force, so they rely on the executive branch, which the president controls, to enforce their decisions. But what if the president refuses? That's when law enforcement agencies like the FBI or US Marshals could step in. Public opinion matters. If a president openly defies the courts, it could lead to massive protests, political backlash, and loss of support, even from their own party. This is the worst-case scenario. If all legal and political systems fail to enforce the court's decision, it could destabilize the government. The US has faced crises before, like Nixon's refusal to hand over the Watergate tapes. But in the end, the rule of law prevailed. The Supreme Court ordered Nixon to hand over the infamous tapes. He complied, but soon resigned to avoid impeachment. Jackson once ignored a Supreme Court ruling, famously saying, "John Marshall has made his decision, now let him enforce it." This was a rare case where a president openly defied the courts. In 2024, Trump was held in contempt for violating a gag order in his New York criminal trial. He was fined, and the judge warned that continued violations could lead to jail time. So, could Trump, or any president, ignore the courts without consequences? Not likely. The checks and balances in place, from Congress to law enforcement to public pressure, make it almost impossible for a president to rule unchecked. What do you think would happen if a president ignored the Supreme Court? Let us know in the comments. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. We break down politics, law, and government so you stay informed. Thanks for watching. See you next time.